Good evening, and welcome to the channel. Here, we share clear and practical tutorials within Uni. In today's segment, we'll be constructing a simple elevator. The process makes use of teleporters, logical components, and several trigger devices. While it may sound a bit technical, rest assured, it's a straightforward build once guided step by step. Let's get started. First, we'll start by constructing the building floors to determine where the elevators will be placed. For this tutorial, we'll only be working with 3 floors. For the second step, we'll focus on designing the elevators. Leave the doors for later, as that will be covered in step 3. For this example, I used a simple texture to get a clear view of the inside and to avoid overlapping DIY cubes in place. The overall design is entirely up to you, so feel free to get creative with how your elevators look. Step 3. Let's create the elevator doors. Keep the doors slightly thin, and remember to leave a small gap between the 2 partitions to make them look more realistic. Once that's done, choose a texture you'd like for your doors. Next, we'll add the elevator buttons. Since we are only working with 3 floors, each elevator will only need 2 buttons. For example, if you're on the ground floor, you can only go to the 1st or 2nd floor. After the creation, apply any texture you prefer for your elevator buttons. Now, let's set up the trigger devices. Place 2 trigger devices for each set of doors. Make the trigger area wider on the outside and smaller on the inside. Also, keep a bit of distance between the buttons and the doors. This prevents the doors from opening as soon as you press the buttons. You might be wondering, why not just use 1 trigger device for both doors? I tested that method, and while it works, it doesn't open the doors at the same time, which makes it look less polished. That's why 2 triggers work best. Step 4. Now it's time to bring everything together. Combine all the blocks and devices that make up the elevator, then position them on the floors we built at the start. Once the first elevator is in place, simply copy and paste it, and position the duplicates on the 1st and 2nd floors. After that, ungroup the combined elevators to make it easier to edit the doors. Now for step 5. This is where things get a bit tricky. Here, we'll be setting up the logic for the doors. You may want to grab a pencil and paper to note the exact positions where the doors will glide open and close. These values can be found under the properties, specifically in the transformation tab. For example, when you slide a door, you'll notice the Z value increasing or decreasing. That's the number you need to pay close attention to. While noting down the Z value is enough, I recommend copying all the values for more precise measurements. Next, let's set up the logic. Start by pressing the logic button. Then click Add Event. Select when trigger enter. And under the moving section, choose Glide to somewhere. Now, click Self and change it to Get World Object. From there, click the same button and select the door. We'll begin with the one on the left. After that, click the diagonal line icon and choose the animation style you'd like for your door. Once that's done, input the XYZ positions you noted earlier. In this example, I used the open door position, since the trigger should open the door when activated. When you step out of the trigger area, the door should, of course, close. After that, simply copy the command you just made, Then click Add Event. Select When Trigger Exit. Paste the command and change the Z position to the closed door value. That way, whenever you exit the trigger device, the door will automatically close. Now, repeat the same process for the second trigger device, this time applying it to the right door. Once both sides are set up, it's time to test the elevator doors to make sure they open and close properly. If the doors still don't close correctly, try adjusting both trigger devices, combining it together so you can trigger them at the same time and for the doors to function properly. Now that the doors are working properly, let's move on to step 6. In this step, we'll add a teleportation component to the elevator buttons, allowing you to teleport to the corresponding floor. Start by selecting a button and clicking Properties. Then, click Add Component, select the third icon, scroll down, and choose Teleport. Next, open Properties again, select Target Point, and move the flag to the floor you want the button to teleport you to. Be sure to rotate the flag so the banner points in the correct direction. Once that's set, repeat the process for the other button. Also, make sure both buttons are set to interact mode. To do this, select the button, go to Properties, select Trigger Mode and change it to Interact. Then, enter your chosen Interact text. This is the prompt that will appear when you approach the button. Now let's test the buttons to see if they work properly. It looks like they're working, but we can't be completely sure yet since the other elevators aren't set up. Now that you know the process, repeat the same steps for the remaining elevators. Once everything is in place, test all of the elevators together. There we have it, and it looks like everything is working as it should. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any updates. Until next time.